Welcome back to the Bluegrass on this beautiful November morning. Today we're going to talk about a problem that dog trainers run into a lot, and we call it the square peg round hole problem. Okay, so I'm going to walk Tucker, who's about 8 or 9 month old Australian Shepherd, and then I'm going to walk Oakley, who's also an 8 or 9 month old Australian Shepherd. Let's go. Now, when we get dogs like Tucker and Oakley, they're awesome, guys. All of these herding dogs, farm dogs, they're very pattern cognizant. They have high energy levels, high endurance levels, quick recharge rates. So they're kind of a dog trainer's dream, and that's why you mainly see dog trainers with this style of dog, right? You know, dog trainers love to talk about their dog training skill, but you'll notice that one of the constants is that the dog trainers almost always choose to demonstrate their dog training skill with herding dogs or retrievers, and the reason being is because the dogs are really easy to train. Okay, when you think about what easy to train means, what I'm saying is that if you want to teach a dog a complex behavior chain, if you choose a dog that's bred to work in conjunction with a handler, has a high energy level, a high endurance level, and a quick recharge rate, what that allows you to do is get a lot of training volume with a dog that was specifically bred to be pattern cognizant. In other words, to recognize patterns and be quick to assimilate those patterns into a training routine, okay? And that's like Tucker. Now, as far as the actual meat and potatoes of this video though, what I mean by a square peg round hole problem is that Tucker is a great dog for a dog trainer, right? Okay, as long as we're doing things that he finds interesting, then like he's up for working all day. And like for us, we do interesting things all day. You can kind of see Tucker losing a little bit of interest right now because as I'm talking, I'm having to walk slow for the cameraman. But like during our day-to-day activities, he's just ready to go all the time, you know. But Tucker lives in the suburbs, and his mom has 3 small children, and his dad works a lot. So from our perspective, you have an awesome dog that's just in a sub-awesome environment, right? Okay, and that's what we call a square peg round hole problem. Up, come on, up. You'll see right kind of in the middle of that routine. When I first started off, Tucker seemed pretty excited about doing what we're doing because usually, like as I'm walking the dogs, I'm paying attention to them and I'm talking to them and stuff. And as I went to, you know, like talking to the camera, and I had to kind of walk slow because it's slippery out here today and the cameraman's walking a little slow, the dog started to get a little bored and started to sniff, and you can see he's kind of looking around and doing some stuff. You know, he's like a really intelligent child stuck in a boring classroom. He's like, I got things to do. Now imagine when you take this, you know, inquisitive, high energy dog that's bred to work all day and slowly dissipate energy over long periods of time, and you stick them in the suburbs with a mom who has to take care of 3 children. It's just tough, right? And so as a dog trainer, some of the problems that you'll run into is like, you know, you have a dog and you think it's awesome and it's picking up all your techniques well, and you're using your marker training and you're exercising them and you're doing whatever kind of stuff that works great at your facility or in your program, and then it doesn't work well for the owners in their, you know, actual home environment. Well, that is what we call the square peg round hole problem, okay? And so you have to learn to be creative in the way that you help people learn to manage dogs that aren't perfectly suited for their home life environment. Okay, now I'll get Oakley and I'll show you a round peg, round hole kind of deal. In other words, where you have the right dog in the right situation, and we'll talk about how easy that is. So as a dog trainer, listen guys, once you start to build your base, you know, your reputation in your area, make sure that you make yourself available for consulting to help people choose dogs. And if you can do that, and you can even get paid for it. Now I don't do that anymore myself because it's not aggravation, but I'm not just getting started, okay? But if you do that, then you can help your clientele choose the dogs that'll make you look successful as a professional dog trainer. And then if you're watching this and you're not a professional dog trainer, look, choose the right dog. Don't be choosing square pegs for round hole situations. All right, here's Oakley. Come on, Oakley. Oakley and Tucker are the same age. Now they're bred just a little bit differently. Tucker is a little bit more of a working dog, but basically they're very similar dogs. But with Oakley, we're in a much better position. Oakley is a round peg that's going in a round hole, right? In other words, she's a farm dog that's going to live on a farm where she can ride around in the truck and in the tractor, because a guy that owns this dog. Of course, he's got big fancy tractors, big cabs on them, they're air conditioned, Bluetooth, you know, whatever. Right? So this dog can ride around in fancy equipment all day and run around on the farm and have a good time, right? And so she's going to be a lot easier to manage. Now, remember I said just a second ago that this dog was bred just a little bit differently than Tucker. If you'll rewind this video and you'll watch this dog's mannerisms versus Tucker, what you'll see is that this dog is a little less fidgety, right? And doesn't get bored quite as quickly, okay? So that, you know, some people would hear me say that and they would think, oh, is this the better dog? No, 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 no. That's not what I mean, okay? When you're talking about what's better, what you're really talking about is what's right for the situation, okay? So me and this dog's owner were just having a conversation about half-ton trucks and 3/4-ton trucks and 1-ton trucks. So if you work for a living, you know you got to have a 3/4-ton or a 1-ton truck. Now, if you just like kind of pretend to work for a living, then you can get you a half-ton. Is that about right? Yeah, you see, so that's about right. So like with the dogs, it's the same thing. If you just kind of want a dog that looks like a working dog and pal around on the farm with you, well, then you can get a dog that's kind of that's kind of a working dog breed, but has been bred not so much to do work every single day, right? Okay, kind of a gentleman's farmer kind of dog. And that's what this dog is. Tucker, on the other hand, came off of an actual working farm, and where the dogs are used to like having to do things all day. So like, you know, parents, grandparents, great-grandparents were all bred together based on their ability to perform complex tasks over and over again over the course of the day. So where Oakley has the ability to stay focused doing, you know, relatively physically and mentally challenging activities, Tucker, the degree of complexity needed to hold his attention is just really, really high, okay? And it doesn't have anything to do with being a good dog or a bad dog. It just has to do with kind of how the dogs are wired. And it's just like people. There's tons and tons of smart children all over the country that they just get tired of sitting in a chair looking at a boring teacher. Okay, and you'll notice that when, like I started off with Tucker a minute ago, he was looking at me, he was like, okay, Stonnie, we're gonna walk at a normal pace and you're gonna talk like you normally talk. And then as we got into it and I was having to talk to you guys, and I was being boring and I was walking slowly, you saw him start to smell the ground and look around and kind of get bored, okay? Because he needs more excitement in his life, right? Okay, when I walked Oakley, she was able to stay focused longer, and like her you know, her steps, her ability to pace match and stuff was just a little bit better because she's better at formal school. She doesn't need that same level of constant stimulation to stay focused. It doesn't mean that Oakley's smarter than Tucker, because she's not. It doesn't mean that like she's more sure-footed than Tucker. She's not, okay? But what she has that Tucker doesn't have is the ability to down-regulate to a degree that matches the social situation, okay? And that's why Tucker is a square peg going into a round hole situation, because he's going to have a hard time self-regulating. And as a dog trainer, the hardest thing I have to do is help his family learn how to deal with the problems that he has with down regulation. Okay, so think about that when you are doing your dog training business, and try to make sure that you help your people pick the right dogs. Or if you get a dog, as a client, or if you're just a person with a dog, then make sure that you understand your dog's natural mental and physical peculiarities. Okay, because you can't be a successful trainer if you don't understand how to approach helping your dog realize their full potential. All right, I'll see y'all next week.